After the Kot massacre in 1903 BS, Nepal was ruled by hereditary Rana prime ministers who came to power according to rules of succession and exercised absolute power. Kings were puppet in their hands. With lifeblood support from the British East India Company, they tried to sustain their rule with suppression of public freedom and strong control over education and outside influence. Mostly their reforms were either for gaining public support for their autocratic rule or for enlarging their luxury. Various circumstances had led to the rise of Rana regime. Here are the shocking history of Rana regime of Nepal. Also, guys, Prime Facts is now on Patreon. Support me in this remarkable journey of creation and enhance me to further inspire all the upcoming viewers. To become my patron, you need to click link which is in my description and click become a patron option. Also you can get many facilities, benefits and merchandise. Link in the description and don't forget to subscribe. The era after Prithvi Naran Shah was characterized by power politic and conspiracy. Pratap Singh Shah ruled only for about 3 years and then came his 3-year-old son Rana Bahadur. The army commanders who came back from the battlefield indulged similarly after the Anglo-Nepal War. Such political instability paved a way for the rise of the dictator, Jung Bahadur Rana. From the early time, Jung Bahadur's family was in touch with the palace. His grandfather Rana Dynasty Kunwar was killed in the Battle of Kangarda and his father Bal Narsingh Kunwar was a bodyguard of King Rana Bahadur. Bal Narsingh Kunwar had killed Shah Bahadur Shah, the murderer of Rana Bahadur. He was appointed the chief of Dankota, Dardalgura and Jumla in different time periods. Jung Bahadur in company with his father got the post of lieutenant. Later he got the post of a captain from King Rajendra. He had also worked as a private secretary to the Crown Prince, Surendra Bikram. Following the murder of Madhabar Singh committed by him, his popularity grew all the more in the palace. Following the Sugarli Treaty of 1873 BS, Nepalese politics was highly influenced by the English ambassadors. Pandey and Ranas were instigated against Thapa, particularly Bhimsen Thapa by the 2 queens of the King Rajendra. Ranas who came to power with the English support knew that they could sustain their autocracy as long as they could please the English. Ranas gave valuable military support to British to suppress and to win the 2 world wars. It is not merely a coincidence that Rana autocracy was thrown following the independence of India. In order to strengthen relation with the royal family, Jung Bahadur married Prime Minister Fateh Jung Shah's sister Hiranyagava Kumari. His sons Jagit Jung and Jit Jung were arranged with 2 princes of King Surendra. Later he gave away his 2 daughters in marriage to Prince Trailokya. These relations helped Jung Bahadur to rise to stately social status and he could get more power in his hand. On the night of 14th of September, 1846, Gagan Singh was mysteriously murdered at his house. The Queen became furious over this and commanded Jung Bahadur to assemble all the administrators in the royal court. Jung Bahadur ordered his men not to let anyone out of the palace without the Queen's or his permission. She believed it to be the deeds of the Pandays and ordered Abhiman Singh to kill them. He hesitated and looked towards King Rajendra for his orders. The king only asked him to investigate the matter and punish the guilty. Tension grew on the palace. Seeing the high possibility of bloodshed, Jung Bahadur and Fateh Jung went to calm down the Queen and Abhiman Singh stayed behind. Singh decided to bring his own regiments to the court. However, he wasn't allowed to go outside. He tried to force his way out and was killed in the process that gave way to the bloodshed that took the life of around 40 nobles. Many Thapas, Pandays and Barsnits died in the massacre including the Prime Minister Fateh Jung. Jung Bahadur used this opportunity to eliminate his rivals and gain power. He declared himself as the new Prime Minister and also the Chief of the Nepal Army. Ashwin 1903 BS is known as Banda Kalpawa and was thought to be the outcome of a conspiracy of Queen Rajil Akshmi to kill Jung Bahadur. The Queen wanted to make her own son, Rainendra Bikram Shah, a king instead of Surendra Bikram Shah, but Jung Bahadur was deadly against it. She therefore had an evil design of killing Jung Bahadur with the help of his opponents including Gagan Singh's family. Having been informed about all this, Jong Bahadur, with the help of his brothers and his 6 platoons of soldiers, managed to get all of his opponents killed in the Bandakal garden. Among those murdered in the event were Bir Doj Barsnit, Mansingh Barsnit and many other Barsnits. Rajendra Bikram Shah, staying in Banaras, was after a plan to come to power again against Jong Bahadur. The people whom he deputed for killing Jong Bahadur were arrested with evidence. In May 12, 1847, Jong Bahadur gave a speech. He accused the king of attempted assassination of the prince and the prime minister. The council then decided to dethrone King Rajendra, saying him mentally ill. And on the same day Surendra was crowned as the new king of Nepal. Outraged with the development of the event, Rajendra Bikram Shah left Banaras to declare war against Jong Bahadur. On 13th Shravan, 1904 BS, the old Gorkha battalion led by Sanak Singh Shaw attacked the soldiers of Rajendra Bikram Shah at Birgunj and defeated them badly. King Surendra was a puppet in the hand of Jong Bahadur. Through the approval of 24th Shravan, 1913 BS, he made Jong Bahadur the king of Lamjung and Kaski, Shri Teen Maharaj. Despite his ruthlessness, Jong comes across as a strategic thinker who has the national interest foremost in mind as he embarks on a trip to England in 1850. It is a spy mission. Jong wants to gauge Britain's military prowess and to see if it is worthwhile risking war to regain territory lost in 1816. Suitably impressed with the ordnance factories and the naval yards, Jong and his dynasty remained staunch Anglophiles for the next 100 years. The British found the arrangement mutually beneficial. When they were being butchered in the 1857 mutiny, Jong led troops under his own command to rescue them, but not before pre-negotiating payment from the Raj for revenue lost between 1860 and 1857 from territory Nepal ceded to British India after the Sugarloaf Treaty, and the return of the Western Tarai. An important reason for Britain to want stable relations with the Ranas was Gurkha recruitment, and Chandra served the British well, sending Nepali troops to Waziristan, and to Gallipoli and Belgium in World War I. 20 years later, Nepalese were again fighting and dying in Burma and Europe in World War II. Some 50,000 Nepalese were killed in the two wars at a time, emptying the countryside of 2 generations of young men. Like his forebear Jong Bahadur, Chandra knew how to cash in on goodwill. He hosted Lord Kitchener, invited King George VI and Prince Edward for tiger hunts, softening the British establishment to sign the Anglo-Nepal Friendship Treaty of 1923 that firmly established Nepal as a sovereign nation apart from semi-independent princely states in India. They may have been ruthless, but they were always keenly aware that their personal and family fortunes were tied with a strong and independent nation-state. Unlike other members of his family, Chandra was not as openly promiscuous as some of his relatives and much more of a workaholic, cunning at statecraft and astute in geopolitics. Jong Bahadur met with the resident and assured of Nepal government's support to the British. But the Governor-General rejected the proposal, fearing the possibility of the Nepali troops diverting to the side of the Sikhs at the crucial moment. Jong Bahadur then decided to demonstrate his power to the English. He was passionate for hunting, but after being the Prime Minister he had not gotten an opportunity to hunt. In 1848, Jong Bahadur planned to go to the Terai with a dual purpose, one for hunting but primarily to show off his power to the English. The year was 1877 AD and Maharaja Jong Bahadur was in the twilight of his illustrious career. One last time he wanted to go shooting, to indulge in his favorite pastime. He took his court to the Terai and took along with him 5 wives, 3 senior Maharanis for company and 2 junior wives for the needs of the night. He breathed his last on Borlang at the stroke of midnight on 25th of February 1877 AD. The 5 Maharanis present prepared for sati, but the senior Maharani forbade the 2 junior wives from committing it because they had young children to look after. Writes his son and biographer General Padma Jong, the 3 Maharanis who had determined to immolate themselves as sati were repeatedly entreated to desist, but they would not go back from their decision. Bada Maharani Hiranyagava Kumari, Antari Maharani and Ramri Maharani were the three brave wives. History will remember them as the Sati wives of Maharaja Jong Bahadur Rana of Nepal. Watch the next part of this history in part 2. Don't forget to share and subscribe. Click the bell icon and never miss the show.